law enforcement has learned over the years is if you are questioning yourself whether you should keep the crime scene off, you always lean on the side of keeping it up long enough to make sure you have all of the evidence that's needed, because sometimes you don't understand all of the evidence that is present there until the active investigation is going on behind the scenes. Investigators are talking with family members, friends, family, etc. So information continues to come in at all hours, at all times during these investigations. So I'm sure you'll see the Hopkins Police Department, in cooperation with crime scene processors, keep that up just as long as they need to.
And what about the victims? I mean, we know that there were 6 children in the daycare, in addition to the 7th child that was killed. And then we also had a parent who walked into the active scene. So we have victims who experienced this trauma. In your experience, how does law enforcement, how are they dealing with those victims behind the scenes right now?
Well, what they're doing right now is making sure that they're reaching out to all of the support mechanisms possible for those children. Certainly their family members will have been notified, the parents, etc. But making sure that those kids have the constant care that they need is going to be critically important. These wounds don't heal with time. It's something that's really burned into the minds. Again, whether you're a first responder or somebody who's witnessed a tragic event like this, and being so young, there are a lot of unanswered questions. We don't know how the minds of these children are going to work, and they need to have all of the resources possible to minimize the lifelong damage that they are going to endure.
What are the next 24 to 48 hours going to look like there in Hopkins?
Well, over the next 24 to 48 hours, you'll continue to see that crime scene stay up again as long as is needed to make sure that every bit of evidence is gathered from that home. There will be continuous conversations and collaboration between the law enforcement agency partners who are there to support not just the Hopkins Police Department, but the community at large. Again, this is a smaller community of approximately 30,000, maybe less. It's a very active, a very collaborative community. We've actually worked with the Hopkins Police Department with one of our projects. This is a very community-centered police department, so they're going to be working with their community partners, schools, et cetera, to make sure that everybody's receiving the resources that they need to help navigate the trauma and the emotions that come with such a serious incident like this.
All right, former St. Paul Police Chief Todd Axtell, we so appreciate your insight and your time today. I know we're going to bring you back on in the 4 o'clock hour after we have this press conference that's supposed to take place at 4 p.m. We so appreciate you making the time.
Thanks for the work that you do. Have a good day.
All right. I'm going to send it back to Randy and Kelsey, but some really good insight there from the former police chief as he's been in these situations, unfortunately, probably more times than he would like to admit.
Yeah, you can see it in his face. It's never something that he wants to talk about. He is very good at sort of peeling back some of those layers and letting people understand how the process works, what law enforcement has to go through, but which, by the way, is traumatic for them in a situation like this. It's one thing covering crime, it's one thing investigating crime, it's another thing to have to walk in and see and hear and calm children. It's just a whole different situation.
And for law enforcement, EMS, anybody who works in domestic violence, a story like today just stops you in your tracks because it is so tragic. And we know from our reporters who were on the scene, one of the parents of a child who goes to this child care said that this was a tumultuous relationship. Police have also confirmed that. And a parent received a message from the child care provider this morning saying it is, quote, crazy here today. Don't bring your child here today. And police have also confirmed that there was some type of history, not elaborating, but we know that that this daycare provider had told people that she was feeling like she was in a dangerous situation and was going to close the child care in 2 weeks, and we've confirmed that with police as well.
It's unfortunate because we have so many situations like this where there is help out there for people on both ends of that spectrum, be it the perpetrator or the victim in this particular case. So it's just unfortunate that help doesn't get to people before something as tragic as this that involves a child and other children. All right, we're going to send you another break. Again, we got more coming up here. Again, there's a 4 o'clock press conference. We should get much more information then as well as this investigation continues.
We'll be right back.
Sometime the roof definitely collapsed at one point, and you have some lighter smoke right here in this portion, but I would guess that it's probably going to be out here not the Skyfox official, but the actual fire department. They make those calls, but I have a feeling that they're going to be calling this a knockdown pretty soon.
Right, the smoke is definitely dissipating as I look at your live picture. And when you were over the building where we could see that the roof collapsed here, you could really get a better sight of all of the damage as well. As some of that smoke starts to dissipate, you can just see that at least a portion of this warehouse is destroyed following this fire. So for people who might be just hopping on the Fox Local stream, we are covering the second alarm fire that happened here in Fullerton maybe about 20 or 30 minutes ago. Stu, correct me if I'm wrong. It might have been a little bit longer than that when it started. But we know that this is happening in Fullerton. We don't know the exact warehouse at this time, but you can see that multiple agencies are responding to this fire. And how many agencies did you see out there so far, Stu? I know you were saying there were quite a few because Fullerton would need help in a situation like this.
Well, you got Brea Fire Department out here. You have Fullerton Fire Department and Anaheim. So that's probably going to be the 3 that are here. And if it's a second alarm, that's probably going to cover it for the fire department that's going to be needed out here. Now, they do swap out. They do rehab. The firefighters, when they're battling flames like that, they work on a timer, not just to see how long it takes for them to put out that fire, but also to make sure that their firefighters...
About 9 o'clock this morning at a daycare, the Brown Bear Daycare. It's on the 200 block of Tyler Avenue North. There, 2 adults and a child tragically perished. We believe it is a murder-suicide, and police are investigating as such.
Yeah, police have said that these are all members of the same family, and this was an in-home daycare. Came across at 9 o'clock this morning as a stabbing at a daycare, and that certainly sounded the alarms. Lots of law enforcement descending on this home on Tyler Avenue in Hopkins. And again, the daycare provider and what police have described as her husband and their child killed in this domestic murder-suicide. There were other children in the home, though, that go to this daycare, 6 other children. They were not hurt, and we are told that they were young children, and some of our reporters at the scene also saw young children being taken out of the home. It was a parent dropping off a child who apparently alerted police to this morning. And then we know through our reporters that one of the parents of a child received a message from the daycare provider today saying, don't bring your child here. It is, quote, crazy. And this parent says that she knew that there had been a tumultuous relationship between the couple prior to this happening.
Police have blocked off that area. Again, it's Tyler Street between 2nd Street and Lake Street. The investigation is well underway. It is now considered a crime scene for obvious reasons. There's also multiple agencies there that will be conducting this investigation. Police did not release much details about the nature of the deaths. Initial reports had it as a stabbing, but beyond that, we really don't know. We expect more information to come out in a 4 o'clock news conference. In fact, our Mike Manzoni is at the Hopkins City Hall for us right now. Mike, it's our understanding that that is where the next briefing will happen about an hour from now, likely to include Police Chief Brent Johnson.
Yeah, as well as other city officials, Randy. We heard from investigators earlier today, shortly after this happened. We will get another briefing in at that news conference within the next hour or so. You can see they're actually setting up for it right now. They have the lectern there, and that is where officials will be speaking, presumably giving us some new details about this. But as you've mentioned, what we know so far, 2 adults and 1 child are dead. All members, investigators say, of the same family. This all started with a 911 call just after 9 o'clock this morning from a parent who showed up to drop off their children. Investigators say that parent witnessed whatever happened and then called 911, and then police went out there and found this horrifying scene. The 2 adults and the child who died, as I mentioned, are members of the same family. Investigators say that they believe that the man in this situation killed the woman and the child before taking his own life. 6 other kids were inside this in-home daycare at the time, but were unharmed. And investigators tell us that they have all since been reunited with their families. So that is what we know now. Presumably investigators do have some new details to share with us, and that is why they are holding another news conference within the next hour or so, less than an hour from now. And we will be here for that, and we'll carry it live for you.
All right, Mike, we appreciate that. And again, as Mike pointed out, multiple agencies will be involved in this investigation. It is such a tragic situation involving a young child and the domestic issues between a parent, between 2 parents, and it is heading in a direction of a very tragic situation in Hopkins.
Domestic violence situations are among the most dangerous that law enforcement encounter, and they're the most dangerous for people to be involved in too. They're unpredictable, violent. There are resources out there, but they are just very difficult situations to navigate. If you are in one of those situations, there are resources out there for you, but it is so difficult to just navigate the emotional toll that this takes on a family. And so we're speaking with former police chief Todd Axtell about just law enforcement protocol in general in these cases. But when you have a domestic that you're responding to, it is hard to negotiate as police officers and hard to get those scenes under control too.
So it's a little bit after 3 o'clock, as you know. I'm going to take you back a few hours to the last press briefing when Hopkins Police Chief Brent Johnson was really very new on the scene. Only 2 hours had elapsed between the time that it happened and the time that he addressed some reporters near the scene. I want to play some of that for you so you can kind of get a sense for what they knew at the time. And again, this was about 11 o'clock this morning.
We're here this morning due to a tragic incident occurring on the 200 block of Tyler Avenue North in Hopkins. Hopkins police and multiple agencies responded to a domestic situation at an in-home daycare. Upon arrival, officers located a deceased male, female, and juvenile victim. There were other children present within the daycare, and we were able to get them out of the daycare and reunify them with their parents. At this time, there's no outstanding threats in the community. This is an isolated incident, and we are continuing to investigate it throughout the day and probably evening. I can provide you more information as we gather the information throughout the day.
Is this family?
All the victims appear to be a part of one family.
How many kids were inside the home when it happened?
There were 7 children within the daycare. One is deceased.
Can you give an approximate age of that child?
I honestly do not know.
Were there any other injuries besides the 3 that are deceased?
There were no other injuries to any other children inside the daycare.
Chief, is this a house that has been known to y'all, or is there any history with this couple that you know of?
At this point, I do not have that information.
Chief, what time did this happen?
This happened just after 9 this morning.
Was the person who perpetrated the attack one of the deceased, or do we know where they are?
We believe the perpetrator is deceased.
Is the perpetrator the male or the female?
We believe it's the male.
What's the relationship of the adults who were deceased to the daycare, if any, or to the home?
It's believed to be the daycare owners.
Do they live there?
We believe so, yes.
Both of them?
Yes.
Are they, what's their relationship, husband, wife?
I honestly do not know the marital marital status of them, or if they're partners. I don't know at this point.
But the child that was killed is their child?
Believed to be their child, yes.
Can you just talk about the gravity of this situation, dealing with something like this, and then also having other people's children in the home at this time that this happened?
Well, this is a horrific, tragic situation for any community, especially here in Hopkins, where we don't see this type of crime. It's a rarity here in Hopkins. And we're a very safe community, and the impact is felt not only here but elsewhere for every parent who has a child in a daycare setting or anywhere where they don't have immediate control over their child. So yes, it's heartbreaking.
Chief, I'm sorry if I missed this. Was this a stabbing? What was the weapon involved here?
At this time, we are still trying to determine the weapons involved, and we'll release that at a later date.
Anything about the nature of the injuries?
No, at this point, I can't tell you.
How were police notified about this, and what sort of response did you guys have right away?
Our response was due to a parent of one of the daycare children who had arrived to drop off their children.
Did they witness it?
I believe so.
What are the ages of the range of the children there and the deceased?
They were all very, very young children. So I don't have their ages at this point.
Under 5?
It was somewhere around that age or less.
Do we know if there was any no contact, domestic restraining order, anything like that involved in this couple?
Again, we're trying to dive into the background here, but initially our goal was to get here to protect the scene as quick as possible with multiple agencies. That's why I had a very large response. And at that point, the goal is just to preserve the scene and make sure that everyone was safe. Render aid as quick as possible.
Sorry, are the kids all back with their parents now?
Yes, all the children have been reunified with their parents, and that's why this took so long to come out here and tell me this.
Can you just tell me again your reaction? I mean, you hit on it a little bit that this really is a nightmare situation for a parent. You drop your kid off at daycare, and then you find out this happened.
Yeah, there's no worse scenario than this, where you drop off your child to somewhere you think is safe, and you get that phone call. I think we can all relate who have children, and those who don't, that this is just a tragic situation anywhere in the world, let alone here in Hopkins. And again, this is a rarity, and we will continue to investigate it as thorough and transparent as possible.
Chief, 2 questions here. Maybe too early. Do we know, did the perpetrator take his own life?
Preliminarily, we believe that to be the case.
Okay. And how are your officers holding up too? This is, not just for the community. This has got to be traumatic for them as well.
The initial officers on scene, this was a tragic situation for them as well. And I could see on the look on their faces that this was one of those ones that you'll remember throughout your entire career, if not life.
Do you have any expectations about when you'll have other updates, and will it be happening here at the scene or someplace else?
I was hoping to do one at 4 o'clock today at City Hall. I also have Mayor Hanlon from the city here present with us today, and we'll put out more information as we gather the intelligence from the scene.
I know you're still working at one last, if you know, is this a licensed daycare? Do you have any idea?
I do not have that information.
Did the suspect shoot himself did he shoot or was he stabbed?
At this point in time, I can't tell you that information. We'll be able to tell you later this afternoon, but there's 3 deceased individuals in the house, all believed to be related.
Did the husband live at the house at the time?
I don't have that information.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Did the mayor want to say a couple words?
Did you want to say a couple words, Mayor? Do you guys want?
Yeah.
Anything?
Hang on.
Not sure if that's still what this is used for. It definitely has a feel that there are customers that come to to this location just because you have that outside area right there and a lot of parking that would suggest that this is